Hello, makers. So I'm going to just kind of go over with you really quickly Module 3 for our digital portfolios and just kind of review this assignment that you're going to do this week. First thing, just if I'm taking it step by step, if I'm asking you here to reflect during the making process, but maybe you're done making, or maybe you're close to being finished, you can just answer these questions by taking yourself back into that mindset when you were making. So I'm asking here that you choose 2 of these topics, and there's only 3, so choose 2 of these things to talk about and write about one of them in here, write about one of them in here. And then I also want you to please choose 3 of these topics. So you get to choose whichever ones you want. And, if you have a really good idea for something to write about that's not on this list, but you think it would be relevant and you think would be interesting, please feel free to go ahead and add that in. I also would like you to add photos. So I know that some of you guys were having trouble adding photos into a Google Doc. I'm not sure exactly what's going on. If you are having problems, please do some troubleshooting. So, just as an example, whatever device you have, if it's a Chromebook, say Chromebook cannot upload photos into Google Doc. And it's really like that simple. Other people have definitely experienced the issue. So just kind of look around a little bit, see if you can find an answer, and get those photos in there for me. So I don't need to show you how to do this because we've already gone over this many times and I don't want to waste your time. So what I really want to talk about is day 3. So this is the final module for your digital portfolios. The final model, but not the last thing you're ever going to do on your digital portfolios, because of course you're going to be working on them throughout the course of this semester. And once you do this, you're just going to do pretty much the same kind of routine for every single artifact that you do make. So let's just look at this really quick. Here's how you're going to access your site. The link works now. Sorry about last week. And my step-by-step tutorial that I'm recording now, I will put a hyperlink to it in here. So your portfolios are going to have written content and visual content. So for every single new artifact you make, you're also going to add a new page to your Google site. You're going to add a heading to that page, and then you're going to have several sections where you are also going to not only title the sections, but you're going to write in those sections as well. You're going to do a 3-part reflection, but if you notice what it says here, you've already done the reflecting. So if you're keeping up with all of the weekly documentation and reflection assignments, you've already done this. You've already answered these questions, and it's going to be pretty simple because you'll just be able to go into your old assignments, copy the text, paste it into your Google site. So I'll show you how to do that in a second. And then I do want you to have a minimum of 5 digital images. Again, you already have this stuff because you did take a picture or scan your design diagram that you drew first. And I've been reminding you, so hopefully you've been taking pictures, just a couple of your progress throughout the making process. And I also want you to have 2 pictures minimum. You can always add more of your final and completed artifact. And I would like you to get it from, different perspectives. So especially if it's something that's 3-dimensional, it can be cool to see, what it looks like all the way around, from the top view or maybe just from the front view. But I do want you to get a couple of different perspectives. Videos are optional because I don't think they're always necessary. If your artifact is a mechanical artifact, or if it moves, or if it's got some really super cool parts to it that are very detailed and would be shown off better by a video, then you should also include a video. But I definitely want, at minimum, your scan, 2 photos of the making process, so kind of somewhere in the middle, and then 2 photos of the completed artifact. And that's what you're going to add to your page. And like I said, remember, you've already done all of this stuff. You already have photos. You already have written your reflections. So let's just start off with going to our Google site. And I'm just going to pick up on mine where I left off last time. So you guys should be in the same space. One thing I want to point out to you is that what I'm going to show you is not necessarily the layout that you have to choose or the colors or the themes that you have to choose. You guys have total and complete freedom here with how you design and lay out your portfolios. What I'm concerned about mainly is that the appropriate content that I'm asking you to place into your portfolios is at least at minimum there. However, if you're super tech savvy and you like to you like art and design, or if you just like coding and you kind of want to dig into the coding aspect of designing a web page, please feel free to spend as much time as you want, as you enjoy, working on it. So again, there's not one way to do things. I'm just going to show you a couple of tips and tricks. I don't like the way that looks up there. Okay, so this is my homepage. This is where people land when they come to my digital portfolio. But I want to build other pages on my website so that people can click around and things are labeled nicely. So where you're going to find that information is over here in this menu bar. And you'll notice that, so there's insert here, so you can insert text, images, things from Google Drive. This is where you would embed code if you had code. And you'll also notice there's these different layouts here. So many different things you can do. You can add dividers, buttons. For example, if I add a button that just says Jamie, and then as a test link, you can see, maybe I would want to put my email there or something if I wanted people to contact me. If I click on this, it's going to go straight to Google, but it doesn't now because I'm in edit mode. So kind of like play around with these things and, see if you can figure some of this stuff out. Like there's image carousels and stuff that are really cool. And again, like I said, spend as much time as you want. So navigate to pages. And if you haven't already picked a theme, you can also kind of click around on these different ones. I think I like this one. So go to pages. We're going to just go down this list like we always do and just make sure that we check every box. So I'm going to make a new page, and I'm going to make this page a separate page from my home page. So how do I do that? I click on the right here where these little 3 dots are, and never duplicate your page. If I duplicate my home page, then it ends up a huge mess, and the 2 pages end up linked, and if you change something on one, then it changes on the other, and it causes a whole thing. So add a subpage. So you're going to add a subpage to your home page, and you're going to make sure here, so I want you to have a page heading, include the artifact number and a description of the general artifact. And that's going to vary depending on what we're working on and what you guys are working on, because you're going to be doing different things. So I know this is artifact number 1, and this was 3D paper engineering. And I just hit enter, and here I am. You can see that this new page I made is very nice and neatly nested within my home page here, and that will also reflect up here when we go to visit the site in a moment. And, again, like I said, you may not do this. You may just leave it like this. I don't like the way it looks when it's all bunched up there in the middle. So I like to just kind of change things around a little bit. Okay, so super simple. I've already got my new page. I've got my page heading. And now I'm going to have 3 sections. So I'm going to have to name what I actually made, so what my artifact is. Then I'm going to have to write a short description, and you can get all of this information from the assignments that you're working on in this class. So where I say here, just in your own words, describe the details of what you were expected to make, meaning what I told you that I wanted you to make, what the constraints and requirements were, and then just show me the inspiration that you found while you were looking around. So how do I know the constraints and requirements? Scroll up to the top of the page, and it's all right here for you. I don't want you to copy and paste this and put it on your site. I want you to summarize it in your own words so that a person who doesn't know you or a person who wasn't in our class would have a really good, solid understanding of what it was you were asked to do for your project. So that's where that information is, and I'm going to show you how to start adding some sections. So I'm going to go over to my insert area, and I'm going to make sure that I'm on my Artifactory, not on my home page. I don't want to do this on home page. I want to do this, on my Artifact 1 page. So I'm going to navigate back to insert, and there's all these really nice, beautiful layouts here that are already ready for you to use. I think I'm going to go back just to make sure here. I'm going to make a project title. I'm going to describe it, and then I'm going to include the inspiration that I found. And by inspiration, I mean, did you watch a tutorial video? Were you looking at, a tutorial, a different type of tutorial online? Were you just kind of going rogue and problem solving and figuring things out on your own? Did you make it up? Did you use a pattern? That's what I'm talking about, inspiration. So project title, description, and inspiration. So I'm just going to go over here, and I think to keep it simple, I'm going to add a text box. And I'm going to say my project title. Go back to make sure. So my project title, I don't want to write project title because that's not very descriptive of what I made. But for example, if I made a paper crane, I made a 3D paper crane wall hanging. That would be how I would describe my project. Then underneath it, I'm going to describe in my own words all of the requirements and constraints that are up at the top of this document. I'm not going to do that because it's just going to be, it's just going to take too much time, and I want you guys to be able to have time to work on this and not watch this whole thing all day. Sorry about that. So below this here, see how this is white, but my background is a different color? I don't like that. And so again, here's where I'm just kind of telling you, just kind of play around with all these different options and buttons. I think this will change it. Yes, I like that better. So I'm going to add another text box, and here's where I'm going to, in my own words, describe the details and requirements and constraints of the project. What I might even do, because I don't think I have to add a whole, I'm sorry guys, my shortcuts on my keyboard are messing up. So I don't think I have to add a whole new section. I could just say inspiration. And your inspiration could be as simple as a hyperlink to the instructional or the tutorial that you watched. I'm just going to, for an example, say instructables.com. And it already turns into a link, so that's super cool. Again, I don't like this color. It's kind of funky. And then, yours is going to have more stuff on it, obviously. We want full sentences, we want appropriate grammar, and we want content. So now I'm on to my written reflection stuff. So I really want to try to figure out a way to lay my site out that's visually stimulating and also efficient use of my time, because I don't want to sit here all day messing around with this. So if I'm going back to here and I'm looking, okay, I'm going to have a reflection before I made, a reflection from while I was making, and then a short reflection after I'm done. So it's 3 little short reflections I'm going to have. And I see also that I'm going to need one scan that goes with maybe before making, 2 photos at minimum, but you can add more, during making, so that's like 2, that's 2 and 2, so that's 4 things, and then 2 and a final reflection. If that sounded kind of like garbled to you, sorry, I'm going to explain it right now. So before I started making, I took a picture, hopefully, of at least my first day or the materials, you know, before I even did anything. And I kind of like this layout right here because I'm looking at it and I think I could put my diagram that I drew in there in this photo place and then write my before making description in here. So I might do this, before making. I like my titles to be bold. And then here is where I'm telling you that I would like you to go back to your week 4 document, and before you did anything, you made and wrote out this reflection in question 4. So you have already done this. All you're going to do, because you guys already have text and reflection that you wrote in here, you're going to go in here, you're going to copy this, you're going to go over to your site again, and you're going to paste the text in here. You know, clean it up a little bit, make sure it looks nice, you know, take a once over and just make sure things make sense. And then you're going to put your diagram in this space here. I don't think I showed you guys this last time, but if you're on a computer, and you might be able to do this from a Chromebook as well, but you can okay, so now I have a little fake diagram that I drew really quick. All you need to do if you have a computer with a hard drive, and you might want to check if you have a Chromebook because it might make things a lot easier, you can drag things right into this site. So if I drag this diagram that I drew in here, it's super easy. So you can, like I showed you last time, you can change the size of your pictures and your diagrams and your visuals, and you can also crop them and things like that. Remember, it's not going to look funny if I stretch this picture out, because here I'm going to have a bunch of stuff that I have written. And I might even just do each section the same way. So here I have before making and I have my diagram. Maybe I'll add another picture of the tools and materials that I gathered and took pictures of before I started making. But ultimately, you're going to be making 2 more sections, and the during making section is going to have 2 photos that go along with it. Will you put the 2 photos and the reflection together? It's up to you. I'm interested and open-minded to seeing, you know, whatever ideas you guys come up with. But they do kind of go together. That's the way my brain works, and I would group them that way. So, and again, you could even do something like, they have all these different types of places or layouts where you can kind of improvise too, so you could add things. If I wanted to, I could add a text box here. I can even move it if I want it to go here instead, and or I could even, you know, and like I said, you guys just kind of play around with all the different things that you can do, because you can really do a lot with Google Sites. So, you know, even if I wanted to add it up here, maybe I can't do that. So this would be during the making, and so this is my second section of my website. I'm kind of not already liking how this looks. It looks a little bit messy. I'd probably go back and figure out a way to make all of my reflections kind of go together. I don't think this looks good. But for the sake of time and for the sake of your sanity and mine, I'm going to make this quick. So remember, you also will have your reflections done for during the making, because you have this information that you're going to be doing today. And the same thing with your final reflection upon completion. So when I'm all kind of said and done with this, I'm going to have during the making, and then blah, 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 my reflection. And then I'm also going to have upon completion of making, blah, 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 my reflection, which is so beautifully written and does not look like this at all. And like I said, like, try to make it look decent and stylized and designed. I might even just do this right now. Get rid of this, because no me gusta. And then just before making. Blah, 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 blah. What I may do here is even put a picture of my, maybe a picture of my diagram next to a picture of my final. And so again, you can kind of just feel this out as you're working, see what looks right and feels right to you. I happen to like just kind of really being able to add drag photos in here to show progress. So like, you know, for example, these were some, I made these a long time ago, but I like them because I have like progress. So this is what it looks like when I picked up the fabric at a garage sale. This is what it looked like after I made the dresses and put them together. And of course, this is my stepdaughter and my niece here. So you can get really kind of cool and creative. So this was before making, and it'd be awesome if I had a during, but I don't. So upon completion and, you know, like final product or artifact. And you can do whatever you want. You can even add videos in here. I think, can I drag a video in here? And again, you just got to kind of see what you can get away with, see what works. That file is not supported. So that would be recording. I'm back, and I'm going to show you how to add a video if you want to add a video of your work in your portfolio. So you just click on this button here, and I went and got a YouTube link of something that I uploaded a while ago. I made this rifle case for my dad. He lives in Colorado. He's kind of like into this kind of stuff. So, oh, I don't want to do that. So I've added this video in here, and, you know, obviously it doesn't have anything to do with the birds or the dresses, but this is for the sake of examples. You know, you could just say, you know, another final product. And you aren't gonna do your layout and your pictures and your titles exactly like this, because yours are unique to you and what you made and what your experiences were. So, you know, as long as you are including all of these things, and you can see that it kind of looks like a lot, but it didn't really take that long to do it. As long as you're including all these things, then you can lay out and you can put as much stuff on here as you want.